Hello and welcome back to an all-new series of YourRaw. In this series, I've invited again people from my Facebook group and from the website to contact me and send some raw images for me to process. But we're going to add something a little bit different to it this time. Not just the processing, but we're going to try and get a little bit of backstory into the image or images that have been sent. Today, we've been sent some images by Paul W. Baker, and I just wanted to get a little bit of insight into his experience actually taking the images before I process them. So Paul, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate your time and your effort in sending me the images and trusting me to actually process them. First of all, Paul, could you tell me a little bit about the trip?
Thank you, Steve. Yeah, fantastic trip. It's probably one of my favourite locations that I've been to for a long time. Yeah, it would have been nice to have gone along with some of the other guys, but that wasn't to be at the time. So yeah, it was just a fantastic location.
Why Bowfiddle Rock? What's inspired you to go there?
Oh gosh, that's a tough question. So I don't know, a couple of years ago, I saw a photograph of this fantastic location on Instagram, and I always look at people's photographs and I think I can do better than that, and that's not trying to be a smug or anything. It's just I think I can sometimes do better than some of these photographs, and I wanted to test myself. So yeah, I went up to Bowfiddle Rock to see if I could do better, and I don't know, sometimes I think I have, and sometimes I look and think, oh, if only I'd done that. But yeah, I think the trip went pretty well, and I'm really pleased with the photographs that I managed to get. I got really lucky, to be fair.
Just tell me a little bit of how good the place was to actually photograph.
Oh, mate, beautiful. It's so quiet. It's such a beautiful spot.
What a beautiful place. It's just so tranquil. There's just nothing around other than birds and two more photographers.
I was actually in awe of the place. I don't know why. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a rock out there, but it's just absolutely stunning. When I got there about 11 o'clock at night, and you couldn't see anything, absolutely anything when I got there. I wanted to actually go down there that night and sort of recce where I wanted to be for the morning, but it was so dark. I couldn't. I just couldn't. It wasn't safe to do so. So I noticed there was a tent at the bottom of the valley, and there was some chap sleeping in his tent. I tried to summon him to get some advice, but there was no waking him at 11 o'clock at night or whatever time it was. I have no idea what time it was, but yeah, there was no rising him, so I had to leave it. But I thought I'd set my alarm for the morning and get up and have a look and see what I could see. And yeah, I just got lucky again. But yeah, I sort of digress, don't I, really? But the location is just simply stunning. It really is. And you know, for a photographer, I just think it was the most perfect place I've been to. It was just beautiful, a beautiful location.
So Paul, I know you've a Nikon shooter for your sins. Joking. But what lenses did you use?
15 mil on, and 14 to 24. Got rid of the 24, and I'm around about 24 mil. I've got like a valley in front of me, water on the left-hand side, which is reflecting the light. Gold light at the end, like a trail of gold at the back.
So as you know, you Philistines, I use the Nikon Z02. It's just such a good camera. It really is a good camera. I cannot tell you how good the camera is. And I know a lot of, like yourself, you use Sony, and I know the other guys, some of the guys use Canon and what other cameras are out there. But the Nikon or the Nikon, however you want to pronounce it, series of cameras, the Z series of cameras, are really good. And I love the Z72. I actually want to upgrade to the Z8. It's just not quite affordable at the minute. But when I can, I will upgrade to the Z8. Lens-wise, I took the I can't remember if I'm honest, the 14 to 24, the 24 to 70, and then I took the 100 to 400 millimeter with me, and I used all of those.
A big question for you, Paul. Would you go back there? Would you return? And if so, why?
100%. I would go back 10 times, I think. It's such a good spot. It's such a good spot. And I'd like to go back with the F7.1 team, with all of us. Although I can see problems with that. We would have such a good laugh, but we would get in each other's way. Although there are people like Darren and Martin and people with, you know, really good legs that can go up the top. On either side there's like a bank, and there's some really good viewpoints from on top. I actually went up there, but I couldn't go up there with my camera kit. It was too dodgy for me. It was dangerous enough going up there with no kit. So the guys that are fully fit and able would get more variety in their photographs, better viewing points. And yeah, really, really good. Okay. So would I go back? Yes, I would. When do I want to go back is another question. I would like to go back next year, probably in the spring, when we start to get some really good sunrises, or even in the autumn. Not this time of year. I mean, at the minute, it's just absolutely bucketing down continuously, and it would be a waste of time. So I think the springtime would be good. I'm not sure it would work in the winter. If snow fell, I'm not sure the roads would be particularly difficult to drive around. But yes, I would go back.
If you did return, or when you return, what would you do differently? Is there anything camera-wise, positioning, anything like that we'd actually do differently?
So what would I do differently next time? There was a photograph I wanted to take, and I couldn't do it because there was, on the second day when I was going to do it, there was a couple of gentlemen that had travelled from Germany, two really, really nice chaps that I met, and they were on the right-hand side where I wanted to take that shot. And I couldn't see that shot being anywhere else. And I don't really want to tell anybody what the photograph is, because I don't want anybody else to do it. But there is a photograph I want to do. What would I do differently? Probably plan it a little bit better. I don't know. I'm like a bulldog in a china shop, is it they say, or something like that. I just go in and just do it. If I want to do it, I just go there and do it. And I think when I go back a second time, I become more thoughtful on the process and what I want to do, and I sort of plan it a bit more. Photograph wise, yeah, like I said, there's the one shot I didn't get, which I'm disappointed I didn't get, but I can always do that again another time. I would also like to do some more long exposure photography at a proper or more relevant time of day, but yeah, I don't know really. What would I do better? I mean, look, this is one of the photographs. I've put it here so I can sort of show. And the photographs have come out really, really good. And this photograph of Bowfiddle Rock, I absolutely love it. I don't know what everybody else thinks. I've had a couple of people asking if they can buy a couple of copies, although they haven't bought any yet. But yeah, what would I do different? I don't know. I just plan it more, I think.
Okay, Paul, thank you so much for sending me these images. Let's get straight on to the processing. Okay, so before we start on the editing of Bowfiddle Rock by Paul Baker, I'll just explain the office at the moment. It's not the office, it's the living room, because we've moved properties about 8 weeks ago, had it all redone, renovated, new kitchen, etc, etc. And I'm converting the garage into an office as we speak. Paul sent me actually 80 images for me to choose one or two from. I'm going to choose a couple, and we'll edit them and see how we get on, really. So the first one is this portrait shot of Bowfiddle Rock. Settings are ISO 40, 14mm, f13, 8-second exposure. So I would say early morning, very dark. And I don't know if you've done a multiple exposure on this one. What I do know is that if we up the DAs, you need to clean your lens or the sensor ball. Anybody think you'd have shot with my Sony? Because it's quite bad. One way I do deal with dust spots, if we just expose it a little bit, we can see all them dust spots there by upping the DAs. So I'll just get the remove tool and we'll just get rid of those very, 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 very quickly. Okay, pretty much got them all. There we go. Then we'll just drop the DAs back down to 0, and we'll start editing this very nice scene actually. So obviously, first thing is the foreground's in dark shadow, so we're going to bring all this detail up, and it looks absolutely fantastic. Let me just reset that because that's the actual image. I just up the exposure a little bit just to bring out a bit of detail in there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to drop that back down. So we'll up the shadows, and we still need to see a little bit of detail, so we'll up that exposure as well to bring that detail out. And the first thing I can see is this area here that's just clipping the edge, and this little bit of seaweed that's just clipping this foreground here. And the other noticeable thing is the horizon isn't straight. So the first thing we'll do is do a crop, and we'll just get that straight horizon. So if we just click on the spirit level sign there, we'll come all the way across like so. That will level it up perfectly, and it's done another job, and it's got rid of this little bit of distraction in the bottom here. And I think what I'm going to do is bring it in a touch more, just to get rid of that rock in the distance there. And then I'm also going to put the horizon on the top third. So the next thing I will do is I'm going to bring a little bit of detail out in the sky. So we'll just select a mask, select sky, select a mask, select sky. Have a look at how good it actually selects what it does select. Quite happy with that. It selects a bit of the sea, but I think that's going to work actually better because it's going to blend better. And what I'm going to actually do is just drop the exposure down just a touch, and we'll drop the highlights down a touch. Somewhere there. Okay, so we're done with that. What we're going to do is I'm going to bring the highlights down on the whole of the image, and I just need a bit more detail in the foreground there. So we're just going to bring that up a little bit there. I'm just going to drop the blacks down, which will bring a little bit more detail. Where we are losing, let's just see if there's anything clipping on the blacks. So right in that bottom corner. So what I'm going to do, just to deal with that, I don't mind it dark, but it's just too much. So what I'm going to do is actually select a brush, and then we're going to drop the blacks right down. We're just going to paint over this area here. Now obviously that's too much, but what we're going to do is we'll just drop that back down then to where we want it, just to bring that detail, and we'll just up the shadows again as well. somewhere there. So we're just bringing that little bit of detail back in without overdoing it. So that's looking good already. Just by doing the crop, it's altered an awful lot for me, because we've now got these two leading lines. We've got the one coming up here, and then the other bit of the water that's coming leading you into the eye of the rock there, the Bowfiddle Rock. So I think what we'll do is we'll try and bring a little bit of colour out in this area here as it's sun setting, sun rising, I should say, not sunset. And we shall saturation, we'll bring up the saturation in them warmer colours there, and luminosity, we'll just bring that up a little bit there. And I'm going to drop down the blues slightly. And what that will do is, actually by dropping down the blues, it will bring out the reds more. It'll make them reds stand out that little bit more. The next thing I'm going to do is just do a few little highlights, a little dodge and burn around this area. So we'll choose another brush tool, we'll drop the exposure, and I'm just going to put a little bit of warmth in there, as if the sun's just starting to catch this rocky areas here. Just gently highlighting these little areas, mainly this area here, just to draw your eye in these areas. And it is just a little bit. If we just up that, we can see where we've been. Just down that, right down there. I'm just going to drop the amount as well, and we'll have to just have a little look at the before and after. So that's all blown out in that area there, and we've brought all that detail out. I think what I'm going to do is try and just sharpen this area a little bit, but not too much. So we'll just grab another brush tool. We can scroll down, up the texture slightly, up the sharpness slightly, and then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to draw in some sharpness into the rocks below here, which make a real nice feature, and then we'll just sharpen that rock up a little bit there. And then the next thing I'm going to do is, and probably the last thing, is we're going to choose a radial tool. I'm going to make it quite big in that area, and I'm going to subtract the luminosity. So if I pick the dark area, that will subtract all that area, and then what I'm going to do is drop the DAs, which will brighten that up there, as you can see, just a little bit, but I'm going to add a little bit of warmth colour to it, and there we go. And if I up the exposure as well to around there, a little bit more warmth to the image, and drop that, and I'm just going to drop the clarity slightly as well, and there you go. So what that's done is, actually, if we show you before and after, just click that off, just brighten that sky up a little bit, made that look quite nice actually. I think I'll just change the radial filter slightly there. Drop that down a little bit, probably there, bring that in to somewhere there, and that's drawing your eye straight into the the actual bridge of the rock there, and that's my first image processed on that. Maybe we could just bring the exposure up a little bit more just to brighten it, so we just do that. Just drop the haze slightly. It looks a little bit hazy in this foreground where we've tried to bring all that detail back out, and that's the first image done, so we'll just save that. And then what we'll do next is the other one that I really like when I watched his video, and if you've not watched his video, get over there and watch his video. He had a fantastic time there. He absolutely, thoroughly enjoyed it. And one of the images that I really liked was the one where he's captured, where he's gone down there and the moon is captured it within the eye of the rock. So we're going to work on this shot and see how what we can do with this. So we've got the image up in Photoshop, and I'm just going to remove one or two little things. So the first thing I'm going to remove is that little island there, because it's distracting right on the edge. There's probably not a lot else I'm actually going to remove. The only other thing I think I'm going to do is actually do it. I'm just going to expand the top there a little bit. So we'll pick a 7x5 frame. We'll just get that to crop a little bit better there. And I'm just going to bring that out to the top, and then we'll just generate the top there just to give it a little bit of breathing room to the image at the top. So that hopefully should generate some nice blue sky. Okay, perfect. Just gives me a little bit more room. I'm just going to remove, I'll just click on that. I'm just going to remove this bit of a puddle here, that puddle. Find a little bit distracting on the edge. I think this is distracting as well, but I think I'm just going to get rid of that in Lightroom. So we'll save that, and we'll save that, and we'll go back into Lightroom and just finish off our edit. So here we have our photoshopped edited image. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit so we can see it a bit more. I'm going to, like I said, I'm just going to crop that bottom off where that gravel is there, which is quite nice. We'll have that. Now we're getting a nice looking image. What I'm going to do is to bring a little bit of detail out in the moon. I'm just going to select a brush, and we're going to up the clarity, and all we're going to do is paint over that moon, and that will just bring the moon out a little bit. I'm also going to grab another brush very quickly, and I'm just going to try and create a few little highlighted areas. So if we just up the exposure slightly for the brush, make the brush a little bit bigger, and we'll just put a little bit of depth in the image where we feel fit to do so. I'm doing writing on the shot. Yeah, we've got a little bit of noise there in the distance. We could denoise it. The rock itself looks pretty good, so I'm happy with that. I'm just going to give it the slightest bit of sharpening on local adjustment, and again just going to grab me or make me a sharpening brush by upping the texture and the sharpness just a little bit, and then I'm just going to bring out that beautiful rock formation that we have there. And again, I'm just trying to bring the areas of sharpness out where it draws your eye into the image. That obviously the first thing you see is that moonshot. Beautiful, beautiful image. Two very nice images there. I've enjoyed this little first episode of series 2 of YourRaw. Got some more in the pipeline. So excited to get them edited. I've enjoyed it too. Again, a big thanks to Paul. Thank you so much, Paul, for the interview and for sending these images over to me.
Okay, so thank you very much for being with me, Paul, today. Oh, you're very welcome, Steve. I hope, hold on, I hope that you can come with me one day and join me, Steve. I'm a bloody idiot, aren't I? but there we go. And finally, here's another hat. We're currently 0-0, I think. What a load of rubbish. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed this interview with Steve. It's been fantastic to share. Please go and watch my vlog. Leave your opinions on those photographs. Love to hear what you think. Thank you very much. Over to you, Steve. Thanks. Bye.
I've enjoyed this part of YourRaw. Don't forget to check out Paul's YouTube channel. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.